Hi there, this is Colin with Friends of the Desert Mountains again, and we're on another property here that our acquisitions coordinator, Sendy, has just acquired. And we're just surveying the site to see if there's any disturbance or any dumping or anything like that we needed to take care of. Or luckily, what we're mostly finding is no disturbance and lots of really interesting plants and animals. So here we have a milkweed plant, and this particular milkweed is called rush milkweed. I believe it's Asclepias subulata, if you're into scientific names. And besides just being kind of an interesting looking plant, it has these really cool flowers that sort of have the little trumpet shape inflorescences. In addition to those just being an interesting plant, it's a really important plant for wildlife, especially for insects. So we're just coming along here in the morning, and I can see probably maybe a half dozen different species of insect that are here feeding off of the pollen or the nectar or the various parts of the flower of this plant, or maybe feeding off of the things that are feeding off of the nectar. So one of the really obvious examples here are these tarantula hawk wasps. And tarantula hawk wasps are these really cool insects you may have heard about that feed off of, or their babies feed off of the tarantulas. So what happens here, we have adult female wasps here, and they will eat the pollen and the nectar from the milkweed, and then when it's time for them to lay their eggs, they'll find a live tarantula and swoop down and sting it to paralyze it, not to kill it. So they paralyze this living tarantula, and then they dig a little burrow that's like tarantula size, and they shove the tarantula still alive down in there, and then they lay their eggs on top of, again, still the alive tarantula. And when the eggs hatch, that means the little baby wasps will have this nice packet of tarantula flavored protein that's still alive and fresh for them to eat. So it's a really cool, kind of gross story about the sort of interdependence of some of the creatures out here. We also have some little red milkweed bugs, which are a true bug, and they have these cool little red triangle shapes on their backs. And then the really cool thing that we see here are some monarch butterfly caterpillars. And monarch butterflies are sort of famous for using milkweed. The caterpillars will eat the parts of the milkweed plant as part of their journey, their migration between Mexico and Canada. And as they're eating milkweeds have toxins in their plant fibers that make them unpalatable to insects, and then the monarch butterflies take those toxins in, and it makes the butterflies and the caterpillars then unpalatable to the birds and other things that might want to eat them along the way. So these milkweed plants are not very common in the landscape, but when you find one, they're really important because they're these sort of hub of activity for the insect life around here and the things that like to eat the insect life around here. Another really good reason that we want to protect this site.